Hi all, today we will discuss about all the design pattern related interview question which mostly will be asked by the interviewers based on the Java, Spring Boot microservices or any Java uh, related project if you are working. So they may ask different type of design pattern. So the first question is they ask related for creational design pattern. So we have a gang of four. In that we have creational design pattern. So in that creational design patterns are multiple design pattern inside that. So this is mostly used to create uh, modify and so the first thing is like a singleton design pattern is a part of creational design pattern. So the interviewer may can they may can ask what is a singleton design pattern? Why would you use it? So the singleton design pattern ensure that class has only one instance and provide a global point of to access this instance. That is called singleton. So it is used when exactly one object is created, then we can coordinate across the system. So we do not need to create another object for that. Only single instance will be created for the particular object, and then same instance we can use everywhere. That is called singleton design pattern. So most of the interviewer will ask singleton design pattern. What is singletons and all? So this is a part of creational design patterns where we are using singleton. Second is what is factory method. So the factory pattern is also part of single creational design pattern. So in that they may can ask explain the factory method design pattern and provide the examples where you used. So mostly the factory method pattern define an interface for creating object, but this specific subclass to be instantiated to is determined at runtime, and it promote loose coupling and commonly used for this library for creating an object. That is called factory design pattern, which is used to provide a uh, pattern defined a create interface for creating object. So this is the factory design patterns, and other is abstract factory patterns. So abstract factory patterns is also part of creational design patterns. So this all are so in that maybe interview will ask what is the difference between factory method and abstract factory method. So the factory method pattern create a single object, and abstract factory method patterns create a family of related object, as a bundle of object for this related object. So abstract factory is used for creating a family of the object with common themes. That is called abstract factory. So these all are the basic questions which is will be asked for this creational design pattern. One is singleton pattern, other is factory method pattern, other is abstract pattern. Now we will go for the different patterns is a structural design patterns. So structural design patterns also have many sub patterns are there in that. So structures structural patterns decorator patterns will be there. So the interviewer may ask explain the decorator design patterns and provide an examples of it is used. So decorator patterns allow behavior to be added to an individual object either statically or dynamically. That is called decorator pattern. So without affecting the behavior of this of other object, it is used to extend the functionality of class without modifying their structure. That is called decorator pattern. Now we will go for the adapter pattern. So the interviewer may can ask they may can ask like what is the adapter design patterns and when to use adapter design pattern. So adapter pattern allow the interface of an existing class to be used in another interface. Existing class to be used in another interface. It is used to make existing class work with other without modifying their source code. That is called adapter pattern. So can you give me real examples where you use adapter patterns and all? Now we will ask, we'll go for the next is a composite pattern. So the composite pattern is also part of the same design patterns. Here we have explain the composite design patterns and provide an examples. So composite design patterns is used to treat both individual objects and compositions of object uniformly. It is used to create a complex tree like structures and all. So that is used for the composite design pattern. So this is all a part of a structural design pattern. In a structural design pattern, they may ask decorator, adapter, composite and all. Now we will discuss about behavior design pattern. So in the behavior design pattern is a observer pattern. So what is observer pattern and why it is useful? So the observer pattern define a one to many dependency between objects. One to many dependency between the object. When one object change the state, all the dependent are notified or update automatically. It is useful to implement distributed event handling system. So there we used observer pattern, so that observers will based on the one event or notifications, that others will be updated automatically, so that observers will work in that case. The next question which will be have a behavior design patterns, a strategy pattern. So explain this strategy patterns and it is benefits, how it is benefit, where to use this. Can you give real examples for that? So strategy patterns define a family of algorithms, encapsulate each one and make them interchangeable. It allows client to choose the algorithm they want to use. It promotes code reusability and flexibility. That is called a strategy. A strategy pattern define a family of algorithm, encapsulate each one and make them interchangeable. So it allow client to choose the algorithm they want to use. It promote code reusability and flexibility. It's called a strategy pattern. Command pattern. So what is command pattern? Describe the command pattern, design patterns and provide an example of its use. So the command pattern encapsulate a request as an object, thereby allow for parameterization of the client with queue, request and operation. It is used to support undoable operations and request logging. So this is called command patterns. Now we will go for this at architectural design pattern. So this architectural design patterns have a model view controller. It's called MVC pattern. So what is MVC patterns? So explain the MVC design patterns and its role in a software architecture. So MVC patterns separate an application into the three interconnected components, that is called model, view and controller. Model will take a data and logic, view will control user interface, controller will manage user input. So it promotes a clean separation of concern and maintainability. It's called MVC pattern. That is part of architectural design patterns. Now we will discuss about this dependency injection pattern. What is dependency injection pattern and how it will used related for this design pattern. So dependency injection is a design patterns that deals with how component get hold their dependency, and it is used to achieve the loose coupling and improve the testability in this application. That is called dependency injection. And the next we have a repository pattern. So this is a very important patterns which we have be used. So what is repository pattern? Describe the repository patterns and it is used the database. So repository pattern is used to separate the logic that retrieve the data from underlying storage. Example, database from the rest of the applications. It provide a consistency API for the data access. So mostly we use for this repository patterns for this database connectivities and database access. So in that cases, it separate the logic and retrieve the data from underlying storage from the rest of the applications. So it provide a consistency API for the data access. So these all are the common interview questions related for design patterns which will be asked from the any interviewer. So we have a creational, and then we have a structures, then we have a behaviors, then we have advanced design patterns, architectures and all. So these things, yeah, that's it. Thank you.